So this happened in Michigan yesterday.
Well, today, gun reform legislation took another giant step forward. The governor signed the red flag law, meaning action can be taken when someone is of extreme risk to others.
Here's the full article of what they put out as far as the red flag laws go. The new law, also known as Extreme Risk Protection Orders, is expected to go into effect next spring. It will allow family members, police, mental health professionals, roommates, former dating partners to petition a judge to remove firearms from those they believe pose an imminent threat to themselves or others. The judge would have 24 hours to decide on a protection order after a request is filed. If granted, the judge would then have 14 days to set a hearing during which the flag person would have to prove that they do not pose a significant risk. A standard order would last for 1 year. So based off of those things, those are the people that can call the authorities and say, hey, I feel like so-and-so is a threat to themselves or to others. And there is no checks and balances with that as far as from what we heard today. And I feel like that's a slippery slope. There's a lot to unpack there. So basically they have 14 days to set something. That's not saying that your trial or your hearing to prove your innocence will be in that 14 days. They could set it further out than that. So again, your rights are being infringed based off of that. So it's all on how they word things. So if you look through the fine print and you kind of pull back the onion layers, if you will, you can see that there's more to this than just what we just read. If someone were to make a complaint and things happen, what happens to due process? So let's take me for example. So if I'm a law-abiding citizen, I've never had anything against me or anything else like that, any claims, and all of a sudden somebody makes a claim on me saying that I'm a danger to myself. If I have no history of that and I am showing competence when you're talking to me, my due process is taken away. And I feel like that is a big deal because you're inching further and further to my constitutional rights being violated, which they already have because, again, I'm not a felon, so I should be able to own my guns if I'm not posing a threat to anybody else. That's my constitutional right. So let me know in the comments if you think that I'm right on this, because I feel like it's our duty and our obligation to speak up on these kinds of things. And if you're familiar with my channel, I don't even talk about these things. Like, these aren't, the gun things is not in my realm of what I normally talk about. But I do feel like it's important for our Second Amendment to be upheld and for our rights as American citizens to not be diminished. And I feel like us having red flag laws is a step in the wrong direction.
I'm all for it. There's all kinds of responsible gun owners out there that and they don't break any laws and all that, but there's not enough checks and balances.
This guy just said that there's all kinds of responsible gun owners out there, but there's not enough checks and balances. So you're telling me that this red flag law is going to be the checks and balances that we need? So if I'm being responsible, what more can I do? Why don't we put laws and everything else like that towards the criminals instead of hurting the law-abiding citizens?
When you look at this list, do you ever think, though, what if you were dating someone and they had a beef with you? You know what I mean? And they said, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call and get him in trouble. Should that be of concern at all?
I think that there's always going to be some malfeasance in these kinds of things, but the overall good that it would do for the population, I think it's warranted.
All right, so now we have this guy, and he basically said that there are people out there that could make these claims. So, but the overall good is worth this? So is the overall good of false claims, false accusations made against you in that case for the better good? I don't think so. And so I think, again, what happens if my guns are taken away and I need them? What happens if I need them for protection? What happens if I'm going hunting? That's what my channel's all about. I love going hunting. That's like one of my hobbies that I love doing. That's the center focus of what this channel is about. So if I get an accusation put against me, I can't use my guns to go hunting, even though I've never done anything wrong. I need to prove myself innocent. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong.
I think in order to buy a gun, you should have to go see a psychologist. and have your mental health determined.
All right, so this is the last one I'm going to do. She said that we need to go see a psychologist to go get a gun. Again, I don't know if she's familiar with what the Constitution is, but we already have a background check run. So, I mean, if there's any kind of mental things, yeah, it's not going to catch every single thing. I get it. But it's our right to own a gun. It is. So the thing is what happens if there's more car deaths and car accidents than there are gun incidents? Should everybody who has a license go see a psychiatrist before they get their driver's license? Because, I mean, that's the same logic of what she's telling us right now. So let me know in the comments if you think that that's an apples to apples comparison. But cars can kill people too, so why don't we just go see a psychiatrist to make sure that we're good enough to drive a car? There's a YouTuber out there, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with him, Colin Newor, and I might be butchering his name a little bit, so I apologize. But he says all the time in most of his videos that a gun is the great equalizer in almost every situation that involves your well-being being involved. So with that, if you're ever in a situation where you're outnumbered, a gun will make it equal or pretty close. And so you always have that. So if we inch closer and closer to taking away our gun rights, how are we supposed to protect ourselves? How am I supposed to feed myself? Because I go hunting all the time and I eat the food that I harvest. These are the things that I'm trying to make everyone aware of. I'm not here trying to sit here and be like, hey, take down so-and-so or this or that, but I feel like Governor Whitmer is making a mistake with this, and Michiganders and the United States needs to be aware of this. And some people aren't. And so I'm hoping to be a voice to show other people that this is what's going on in our state, and we need to be concerned about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if this concerns you or not, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.